All right, e-commerce people. So today I'll share with you how to battle the new tariffs. If you are in e-commerce, if you drop shipping, you probably have seen the effects of new tariffs that Donald Trump has announced, which will impact the cost of the products shipped from China. Both smaller shipments, like drop shippers, are shipping directly to consumers in the United States. And also the bigger shipments, let's say if you're shipping directly to your warehouse or 3PL in the United States directly from China. So what are these new tariffs? So US added extra 10% tax on most products made in China, right? This is on top of the existing tariffs. This does not replace the tariffs that have been there before, which means in some products now have a total tax up to like 50%, which is, not good for you. But I'll show you some of the ways that you can overcome this and still make a lot of profit with your business. US also almost removed the minimis rule, which allows shipments under $800 to be duty free. But for now, the change had been delayed, which means, let's say, if package is up to $100, the rules and tariffs don't apply to those packages, which is many of the big platforms like Shine, I don't know how to pronounce it. There is also Timu, I don't know how to pronounce it either. So all of those things will be impacted once that has been incorporated. Now, how does this affect e-commerce brands? So number one, your cost per product goes up due to new taxes. Number two, shipping delays. Because US Customs is stricter, they definitely want to collect all of those money, all of those fees from you, just leading to potential slowdowns. So imagine like ships are going through and there's only so many people working in ports in Los Angeles, in Miami, New Jersey, like all of the biggest ports. So as they go through the customs and they're checking every package, they want to make sure that all of the dues were paid. And now they have to do a lot more work than they had to do before. So now it will be a lot slower to get your packages through, and it will lead to potential slowdowns, which I'll show you exactly how to overcome. You also have more fees because some shipping carriers are charging 30-35% of declared value upfront, which is not good, right? It means issues with cash flow, your products are more expensive, and now your profit margins just drop. I will exactly show you how to overcome that as well. So lower margins, that's pretty much the consequences of all of this. If you don't adjust pricing, your profits shrink. I'll show you some of the strategies you can use on that side. And there's also uncertainty because future regulations that could remove the minimis rule, making low-cost imports even harder. Now, few things that I wanted to show you, few exact solutions that you can start using today. Number one, you need to optimize fulfillment to avoid delays and extra costs. You want to use commerce optimized couriers like UnExpress, 4PX, Yanwen, and if you have no idea what these are, or you maybe just know UnExpress, then maybe you're just not working with the right supplier. And if you want me to connect you with the right supplier that you can work with, they give you all of the quotes, they compare the quality of the shipping, the shipping times, all of those things, then just DM me suppliers on Instagram. I'll share with you my connections that I have used for years. So these couriers, I don't know. Again, I don't know how to pronounce shit. They can clear customs under the new regulations. They know all of the regulations, and they'll make sure that you're complying with all of the laws. Because if you're not paying, right? If you are working with couriers that promising to bypass duties, we have this loophole that's working. It's no one will notice. I mean, people in customs, they're not stupid, right? They know that there's some certain fees need to be applied. You have to pay those fees. And these shipments, if you ship them that way, they may get stuck or rejected at customs. That's what happens when you're working with these unreliable couriers or suppliers or agents that promise you to have lower fees. Always work with reliable, even if it's slightly more expensive. That's one of the things I've learned in my e-commerce career, that if you're working with just person that does good business, even if it's more expensive, it will save you more time long term. You also want to check HTS codes for all products and calculate total duty costs to ensure pricing accuracy. Again, if you're working with the right supplier, they can do all of that for you. HTS codes is pretty much category of items you're falling in. So if you're selling cosmetics, it falls into cosmetics HTS code. If you're selling skincare products, it falls in another one. If you're selling gadgets, falls into another one. If you're selling massive furniture, which I don't recommend you do, definitely not ship it from China, then it falls into another category. So there's certain smaller loopholes in this that, again, if you're working with a reliable supplier, they can help you to find out. But overall, you just want to make sure that you're complying with laws, because if you don't follow the rules, your shipments might get stuck and you'll lose even more money. So expect custom delays, especially in short term, and communicate proactively with your customers. If you see okay, the package has been 10 days and it's for the last 5 days, it hasn't been updated and didn't move, you have to let your customers know, because otherwise you'll have chargebacks, you'll have disputes, you'll have unhappy customers, you'll have bad reviews, you'll have poor feedback scores. The whole business can go to shit if you don't proactively communicate with your customers. You also want to avoid risky shipping methods, for example, DDP freight, until more clarity is available. All right, so this is number one. You want to work with suppliers. This is the biggest action point. Just work with the right suppliers. Again, if you want my contacts, just DM me suppliers on Instagram, and I'll share with you their contact. Also, if you DM me tariffs, so this is what I'm sharing with you now. It's just the summary for you to understand the core concepts, the core action points. But if you want the whole breakdown, 16 pages of explanation, even Loom videos here, which was provided by our partner, Ecom Ops. We're actually fulfilling through them. They've been great partner for us for many years. Ecom Ops, they prepared this whole document. If you want this whole document with detailed breakdown of all of these changes, and also it's being constantly updated. So you can see final update February 8th. Before that, the update was, I think, February 6th. So they basically constantly, you can see February 5th, February 6th, new updates, because this is very dynamic topic right now, and you want to stay on top of it because it impacts your COGS, right? So if you know what COGS is, by now you probably know. If you're watching until this point, you probably know what your COGS is, right? Cost of goods sold. If it before cost you $10 to sell your product, and now it will cost you $15 or even $17, right? So that $5 or $7 per unit has to come from somewhere. And ideally, it doesn't come from your pocket, which is exactly why I want to show you one of the ways that you can tackle this, which is you want to adjust your pricing to maintain profitability. So all of these tariffs, they're stacking up, and some products are now facing total duty rates up to 50%. Imagine, so in this case, it would go from $10 to $15. So imagine $5 on each unit, on each product sold. It has to come from somewhere. So you would want to test different pricing. There's different apps on Shopify, for example, that you can do it with. One of them is called Intelligence, which is a pretty solid app. You can test different pricing, see if it hurts your conversion rate a lot. If it's just a small, not very meaningful change, then you can just have your prices higher. And I would recommend to test them in brackets of let's say if your product cost was $39.95, right? Test $44.95. Then you can test $49.95. If $44.95 is successful, you can test $49.95. So this way you can find what is a sweet spot pretty much for the price point, for the profitability, for the conversion rate. And that's something that you absolutely need to do, because these extra dollars that you'll pay for tariffs, for fulfillment now, they have to come from somewhere. And ideally, it doesn't come from your profit margin. So raising prices is absolutely necessary, and most competitors will do the same to adjust for costs. So if you're worried I'll increase my prices, but my competitors will keep the lower prices, well, they're getting hit with the same tariffs, unless they find some magic loophole, which does not exist. Consider also bundling products to increase average order value and reduce per unit impact of higher duties. So for example, if your average order value right now in your store, let's say $50, right? And if it's only $50, well, shame on you. You have to ramp it up. So let's say it's $50. And let's say on average, if you're calculating, you're selling 1.3 units per customer. So you have to find ways, which you can absolutely do, let's say with bundles. So let's say you incentivize people to buy 2 units, right? So let's say people buy 2 units, you give them 1 unit for free. Or if they buy 2 units, you give them like a extra like free gift. So this way you can influence the amount of units that people buy on average. Another one here would be the upsells. For example, in our funnels, we have 3-4 upsells, which means, we're able to take our front end average order value from, let's say on the front end, some of the funnels we have like $50. We're selling the product for $50. We're able to take that average order value to $120 through upsells and also by playing around with different offers. This is like, before it was like, it's like I can play with it. Now it's absolutely fucking mandatory. Now it's so important to do it. It's something that will allow you to stay in business. Like literally, I've seen so many DMs from people that have been hit by these tariffs now. And like some of the people are just, there is no point for me to be in business. I'm closing the shop. I'm closing the store. Like I'm looking for a job. I literally got messages like this. So don't let that be your store. So you have to play around with offers to increase your average order value. I'll show you also some of the ways that you can reduce these COGS as well. Your per unit impact is not that high. And also if you're shipping them with the same package, so let's say even if you're drop shipping from China, let's say instead of 1 item in the package, you would have 2. So your shipping cost will not be like double. Your shipping cost might be like obviously a bit more expensive with 2, but it won't be double than it was with 1 unit. This way you can also have some cost saving. That's how you influence your margins and make your business more profitable. So bundles will be crucial, absolutely crucial for you to have higher margins with your business. Now, you can optimize declared values legally to avoid excessive duty charges while staying compliant. Now, again, this is like a gray area. Nothing that I'm saying here is a legal advice, and you want to work with professionals that do that know different legal loopholes that can help you to optimize the excessive duty charges. Maybe there's like different categories they can put your items in. There's many different ways they know how to do it. Again, what I'm saying here is not legal advice. I'm saying, Alex, you told me like to qualify my skincare products as like dog food or dog shit. And now my business is fucked. Alex, shame on you. Don't do this. What I'm sharing with you is like you have to work with professionals. That's why I'm working with professionals. I'm working with Ecom Ops. These guys are professionals at what they do. I'm working with another company called Canary Solutions, which is also an amazing company. Helps us ship our bulk items from China. So we're sourcing items from China. I actually did the whole YouTube video. You can check it out somewhere here, probably if we can plug it in or below in the description. And so they're shipping big containers with our products directly to United States 3PL, and they know how to classify those for customs to be fully legal, fully compliant, and no issues at all. You also want to monitor carry costs closely as new processing fees may be applied unpredictably. You want to just keep an eye on this. Before it was like, it's like fulfillment, like supply chain logistics is kind of like part of the business I don't really care about. And I just care about my ads and my Facebook ads ROAS. Good for you. But now your break-even ROAS might go from 1.5 to 1.7 overnight, and you might not even know it if you're working with suppliers that doesn't give you updates, or if you're not monitoring these things. It became such an important part of the business because of all of these things that have been just announced, and we as entrepreneurs, we have to keep an eye on it, even if we don't want to. And I know you don't want to. It's like, this is the most boring video I've ever watched. Alex is talking about some tariffs, and I want to watch Taylor Swift videos. Alex, you just distracted me from watching that video. I said there was some funny cat video I was watching, or some lifestyle video of some person living in Dubai and driving Lamborghini. And now Alex, you're talking about tariffs, you're talking about boring shit. Well, this boring shit will make you money. And that's why I'm making these videos, because if you keep an eye on this, if you work with the right people, that you will make more money, and then you'll be able to buy that Lamborghini if you want to. Number 3, diversify and future-proof your business. So you want to expand to non-US markets like Canada, Europe, Australia to reduce reliance on US sales. And by the way, in Europe, they're working on a similar law that will also remove some of these loopholes that will make it more problematic and more expensive to ship. So all of you drop shippers in Europe, hello, there's something coming from my sources that might make it more challenging for you to do that. So you also have to be kind of keeping an eye on it, monitor, see what's happening, see how to adjust, because that's what we entrepreneurs do. We adjust to circumstances, and the best way to do it is being proactive, not reactive. It's not after this happened, you're trying to make adjustments, but you're proactively looking what's coming. Okay, what's new? how can we prepare, how we can position our business better? And I'll talk about that in a second. You also want to explore hybrid fulfillment. For example, if you're selling international, let's say you're selling in US, but also you are selling in other markets, right? So let's say here, 70% of your sales are coming from US, 30% come from, let's say, Europe, other countries, others. I'll just put others. What you would do here is you would have a 3PL. And by the way, if you want a good 3PL in the United States, again, just hit me up on Instagram. Don't be shy. Shy people don't get rich. Just hit me up on Instagram. Tell me 3PL. Alex, I want a 3PL. I'll give you 3PL contact. I'm not greedy. Come on. And so I'll give you 3PL contact that you can work with that will ship your items throughout the United States. But then for all of the international orders, you can ship them directly from China, right? Because other countries have not been impacted yet by new tariffs. So let's say you have this hybrid model. You host some inventory in China 3PL, in China warehouse, 30% of it, and then 70%, let's say, in the United States. So US warehouse is servicing all of the US customers, and China 3PL is serving all of the other countries. So you ship directly from China, which also saves you another months. Because if you put items in a container, you ship them on a boat, or you ship them air is more expensive. It takes 1 extra month for you to get your items in the 3PL. So that delays the cash flow cycle, which is one of the most important things in e-commerce business. If you ever had cash flow problems, you know exactly what I'm telling you. Cash flow. It's okay, yeah, we're making sales. We have no money in the bank, right? Because we have to pay all of these invoices now. We have to pay for Facebook now. And we haven't even sold those items because they're somewhere on the boat in a Pacific Ocean. The captain is captain is chilling on a boat, by the way. Think about it. They are going through the ocean for 1 month. What the fuck do you think he does there? For 1 month on a boat, he's chilling. He's chilling and you are not, because you have cash flow problems. And that's exactly what I want you to avoid. By doing this, you'll avoid some of the cash flow problems, and you also have more diversified hybrid model if you fulfill to other markets than you ask directly from China. All right. Assume that tariffs will stay long term. Don't expect, maybe it will happen. Maybe it will go away. People have all of these hopes. It's by some miracle, all of the tariffs will go away and you'll have your 50% profit margins. It won't happen. It's probably here for a long time. There's a trade war with China. Donald Trump, is looking for different ways to approach that. And I think it will get escalated and escalated and escalated. And so this is not going anywhere. So you want to build strategies based on sustainable cost structures rather than loopholes. You want to also monitor changes in trade policies. This situation is very fluid, very dynamic, and future restrictions are still on the table. They're okay, hey China, okay, you don't want to do what we want you to do. Let's squeeze your balls a little bit, right? And China is okay, let me squeeze your balls a little bit. And they're squeezing. It's okay, if it hurts, okay, let's get on the table, let's talk, right? What you can do for me, what I can do for you, and let's figure out some solution. And that's usually how things are done. But this is best case scenario. And so imagine they're sitting at a table, China and US, and each of them is holding each other balls and squeezing them. Basically, who will give up first? And I don't think it is Donald Trump. So he'll push harder, but also he's a businessman, so he'll find some reasonable solution for all parties involved. You also want to test localized fulfillment options in key markets to reduce shipping times and customs issues. So even some of the European countries, maybe you explore 3PL in Germany. You explore 3PL in UK, whichever countries are performing the best for you. You also can explore those options. And again, you want some context, you want some information, you want some introductions, just DM me on Instagram. There should be my Instagram below. Let's connect there. We'd love to help you with introductions, connections, advice, just give you more clarity so you stay in business. So these are some of the major things that I wanted to share with you. Again, if you want the whole document on this, it's here. And I'll share it with you if you just DM me tariffs. If you cannot pronounce tariffs, I cannot pronounce many words in English language, that is okay. I'll still send the document to you. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. We're all learning, we all fuck up, and we all become better, hopefully, with pronunciation. So that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. By the way, the only way that I see this is going up and overall like your business surviving, moving forward, is that you gradually become a real brand. You don't just focus on all of these loopholes and shipping products from China. You think about how can you put your products in the United States warehouse? How can you use 3PL? How you can have 3-5 day shipping times for your customers? How you can improve the customer experience? That is the only way that you can build a sustainable business that will be around in 2, 3, 5 years from now. Because if you're just focusing on different loopholes, your product like shipping is like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then you will not build a business, and in a few years you'll have no business, and then no one will be watching my videos and I'll be very upset. But hopefully that won't happen and you'll build an amazing brand that you're proud of, and in that case I'll be very, very happy. So thank you so much for watching. By the way, don't forget to DM me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active, and I'll send you some resources. I'll send you this document if you DM me Tariffs. I'll send you my contacts of suppliers, 3PLs, product developers, anything you need help with, pretty much. I have all of the resources to help you out, even with funnels, right? Like adjusting prices, maintaining profitability, or adding upsells. If you DM me funnels, I'll send you those documents. So I'm there for you, and I would love to help you with anything I can. So thank you so much for watching. If you watched until this point, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I'll be posting updates on this topic and others that are influencing entrepreneurs every day to help you make more money, be more profitable, and just build something that you're proud of. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.